Hi, I'm Mike with Homes Quality Products. Today, I want to talk to you about the American Express Gold Card. This is a points card, not a cashback credit card. So if you're looking for cashback, you might want to look at some of the other videos I've done, which is great if you want to travel and do things really cheap. So this card has a $250 annual fee. Now, if you're active duty military, you can get this card and the annual fee is waived. Like the company a little bit more because if you go to get another credit card through somebody else that has an annual fee and you're already active, they won't waive it. They only will waive it if you had the card before you were active. Then once you become active, you can get the fee waived. But this one, you can get while you're active and get the fee waived. So I think that's really cool on American Express's part to do that for the soldiers. The multipliers on this card are 4% on grocery, 4% on dining, 3% when you book directly with the airline or through the American Express travel portal, and then 1% on everything else. So it's a good food card. Now that $240 annual fee, that's a lot, but there's ways that you can actually get money back. So with the $240 annual fee, this card you'll also get $10 a month of Uber credit and $10 a month you can use Shake Shack. And I'll put the list on the screen. There's a list of restaurants that you could use it through. Cheesecake Factory. It's a little bit of a headache because if you don't use them that month, you lose it. But you're probably going to eat out somewhere and you just have to think a little bit ahead. So typically, I'll use one to credits, $1 to $10 towards getting some ramen noodles from a place I like. And then another time I'll use the other $10 credit towards getting something from like Panda Express. So I can use those $20 a month in credits pretty much every month. And that's $240 off of your $250 annual fee. But there's also other ways to get rid of some of these annual fees too. So on the screen, I am going to show you a screenshot of me using Amazon and it's getting $80 back. So what I did was if your default payment is a Amex credit card that has points, sometimes you'll get a targeted offer and they'll say, well, if you use your American Express points towards this purchase, we'll give you such and such back. But there's a little thing, instead of letting them take all your points, I just use 1 point, which is basically 1 cent towards that, and they took off $80. The thing I've done is they have where you can add stuff to the card just like you do with some of the other credit cards. I had people coming to visit, and what I did was I usually don't pay too much attention to the deals. I just activate them all. But I remember seeing one for KFC, and I'm like, oh, well, let me see if everybody wants, KFC. I went and ordered like the large meal, which was 50, 60 bucks. But since I used that card, I got my 4 points per dollar back. But they gave me $25 off that order. And at that point, I had used either the Grubhub or the Uber credit towards it too. So then I got this roughly $60, $65 meal for about 30 bucks. It was easy to offset the $250 annual fee, as long as you're using the $240 in dining credits, and then just a couple one or two of these other perks. So it's good for food. Like I said, I just consider it a food card. And if you're a soldier active, you're not paying the annual fee and you're getting these credits still. So this card also has a $100 hotel credit. You've taken a card that had a $250 annual fee and you've actually not only got the 4% back off of it, but you've gotten $100, $200 on top of that back. But I still recommend like these type of cards only for people that are going to use it for travel. If you're looking for cash back, this isn't the card. But if you're going to travel, you can start accumulating extra points and savings. Points, you get what you call transfer partners. I'll take a small screenshot. Now, Amex, I believe, has like 17 transfer partners, but I'll put a screenshot of just a few of them on the screen, but they have a lot of transfer partners. I'm going to show you an example of me booking a flight from Dallas-Fort Worth to Miami, Florida. I just picked random spots. I usually use American Airlines. So what I did was, you can't get American Airline points but you can get British Airway points. So what I did was I booked this, showed you, I'll show you a screenshot of booking this flight with cash. I believe in this one it was $200 something. And then I booked it with British Airway miles, and it was almost half the price in points. So now those 4% on dining and 4% on grocery, when you start transferring out on that flight alone, basically became 8% on dining and 8% on grocery, because I doubled the value of it. And a lot of the people on these YouTube videos that talk about these points, they talk about first class and world travel. I'm talking domestic travel economy. And the reason I do it that way, because that's the way I travel typically, because I don't mind sitting in the middle of the plane or the back of the plane. I want to get as many free flights as possible, or as many of these free things as possible. But I have flown in just 2023 many flights, thousands of dollars of flights for free, because I try to stretch my points just like I would try to stretch my dollar. I want to travel as often and as freely as possible, stay as many hotels as possible. So you can do a lot and for free, but you're getting twice the value when you're transferring these points out. So I'll put a screenshot also that shows what it would have cost through the American Express portal, so you can see the cash and you can see what it would cost using American Express points, and then you can compare that to where if I transferred it out to British Airways and booked the same flight. So they have different partners, and different partners have different lines. So if you prefer, maybe Delta, they actually have a direct transfer to Delta, but United, JetBlue, whatever your transfer, who you choose to fly through, they have groups like the Star Alliance, the One World Alliance, and the airlines in those groups. You can usually transfer it to somebody and book a flight. So, for example, this one was American Airlines flight, but I booked it through British Airways because they're part of the same alliance. So it takes a little bit. It's a little bit of a learning curve. I'll probably make a video eventually showing the process on how to do it. But once you've done it a couple times, it's really easy. But it's a great way to stretch these points and get way more value. Right now they have a current bonus offer of 75,000 points for 6,000 in spend in 6 months. It's a lot of spend, but they give you a longer period to spend it. So you have 6 months. So if you're spending $1,000 a month on purchase, like when I'm trying to hit a bonus on a card, I use that card for everything. So this would be my normal dining card and grocery card, food card. But during the purpose of hitting the bonus, it becomes my everything card, gas, general purpose, because the bonus are so much more valuable than the extra percentage I would get on these other cards. So this one being a 75,000, that would basically be the equivalency to $750. But if you transfer it out to the other partners, like I showed you in the British Airlines photo, get way more value. So that's $750. If you just book it through maybe Amex travel portal, booking flights and hotels, super simple to use. You're definitely going to probably get about $750 out of it. But if you transfer it out, you may get, $1,500 or more off of this bonus. So $1,500 of free travel or whatever. So like I said, when it comes to points, you can start increasing the value. I will show you on some other cards where I've actually gotten 4 or 5 cent per point. So like it definitely can increase. I'd say 2 cents per point is pretty much like what you want to get out of your points. But I never accept less than 1 cent a point. So if there's something like there's only certain locations or a certain flight or time. If I don't get 1 cent a point, then I'm like, okay, well, I might as well use, cash back in that sense and save my points when I can get more value out of them. So this card has purchase protection. I believe it's like you have 90 days if something happens, and you get $10,000 per incident. I've never used purchase protection on anything, but I know people that have put earbuds in and they lost them, or they're traveling and lost something like that, and they used the purchase protection and they got them replaced. And they told me there was no issues doing it. I can't speak personally from it because I've never done it. This card also has a lot of other additional benefits. I'll put this on the screen too. One thing you'll see, it says car rental insurance. just remember it's secondary. So if you have a car, full coverage car insurance or whatever, it may be primary and this will be secondary. There is some credit cards that have primary, not many, but I have other cards that have primary too. And it's just nice knowing that like that's going to be your first source of covering this vehicle's damage. There's lots of travel insurances. Like I said, I'm going to show you some screenshots, but I also wanted to point out when you travel with points to like airline points and things like that, the refund is easy. So I have paid for a couple flights. Like I might like see a $200 flight round trip or something. I'm like, oh, I'll just use cash and save my points for like a more expensive flight. And then I had to cancel and I didn't have the insurance and then they won't refund your money. But if you use the points to book that same flight and you have to cancel it, I know at least with American Airlines and British Airways, you get all your points back. So you almost get trip cancellation insurance for free. With American Airlines, I believe it is up to the point you get ready to like board the plane. As long as you haven't boarded the plane, you can get them back. And British Airway miles, I believe the Avios points are actually like 24 hours before you have to fly. So that's another cool way to save a little bit of money because not only did you get more value out of these points, you used half as many points for the same flight. So basically 2 cents a point. Now you got trip cancellation insurance pretty much where you can cancel it and get your points back with these flights too. And you didn't pay another 20 to 50 or whatever it might cost dollars to get that. So points have other added values too. The downside with paying with points is you're not really building any points with that airline or like loyalty points. But so for like American Airlines, like I'm not going to get loyalty points if I'm booking with British Airway miles. But if I were to pay for that flight, I would have got loyalty points. Also, this card has no foreign transaction fees, which is great when you travel outside the US. The only thing is with American Express, when you start traveling outside the US, it tends to be harder to find people that actually take American Express. I wish more places did because like I actually like the company because when you need customer service or you need to talk to somebody, they're right there. Like they're quick to respond, super friendly. When people talk about their customer service being the best, it's absolutely true. Like, I don't think anybody else can beat their customer service. You get to talk to a real person quickly. They usually lean towards whatever your problem is towards your favor, and they're just really good customer service. So my overall thought of this card, it's really good if you're somebody who wants to travel or travel for free. It's a great food card. It's one card, grocery, dining, whatever it may be. You swipe this card and for food and you're good. Also, the value you get it. When you start using points, you get a lot more value for travel and things like that. I'm going to get into some other credit cards later on. I've actually already talked about them, but the way you can combine them. And some of the others you can use them for cash or for travel, transferring. But American Express has the most transfer partners. And also, on that, I didn't mention earlier too, was that when you transfer out, sometimes there's a bonus. So say like I use British Airway miles or Avios points. Sometimes when you go to transfer, Amex will have a bonus of like 30% bonus. So not only did you just get twice the value, you're going to get an additional 30% on top of that. So now you're increasing the value even more when you're transferring this out to a transfer partner. So when it comes to points, way more valuable than cash back if you're going to travel. But I will show you some little tricks and some other card combinations to where you can have the versatility of cash back and points. This is a points credit card and you can do a lot off the points. Also, the travel insurances, they help out. The dining credits, if you're using them, and then the hotel credits and the portals, if you're using these things, those annual fees that seem really high disappear. So, like I've said before, my goal is to make your money grow, right? So if you're traveling already, maybe a few times a year, like this is great because now you can travel for less. So you're saving all this money on flights. Just the one flight in the example, that was a one-way trip, saved you $100 in cash because instead of $200 and something in cash, you got it for $100 and something worth of points. And just so you know, for this and all the videos, when I say worth of points, I'm comparing it to 1 cent a point. That's the kind of what it would cost you in cash. It just seems the easiest way to break it down for people. So a $200 some flight costs you $110 of points roughly. So points are super valuable. So between the points, the travel benefits, what you're saving on the flights, the dining credits, the hotel credits, the Amex portal, I showed you the Amazon cashback I got. As you can see, just in these few little things, I've gotten way more than what the annual fee costs. And remember, if you don't have the cash, you don't have the credit. Treat credit cards like debit cards. Only get what you can afford. So you pay it off fully every month, because if you're paying interest, you're losing money. And what I would want to do is help you gain money, help your money grow. So hopefully with this video, we've seen how you can offset a lot of things and actually gain money through this card, not even with just points, just with different credits and things. If you're going to travel, or if you are traveling, great way to travel cheap, or for free. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe, like, comment down below if you have any questions, and I will see you in the next one.